Yeah. Gump report. Now, I'm going to tell you this because I did try to find some information on who we're talking about here, and that is Vince McMahon. There has been no updated information, so I will be basically giving my feelings about the situation. Basic. It's not going to be something very elaborate. Unfortunately, there's just nothing there. So you already know, I'm sure everyone already knows, Vince McMahon had spinal surgery. And the most that we've heard out of the spinal surgery is many people are wondering, does Vince still book right now? Because they're wondering, because before the spinal surgery, his major spinal surgery that he got on his back, was or is there still interference from Vince McMahon? Now, we already seen SmackDown. No, we haven't seen SmackDown yet. We already seen Raw, which did look different. For me personally, it was an okay show. It wasn't an incredible show. It was an okay show that looked a bit different, even though there was still some decisions like a Vince McMahon would put into the show. And when it came to NXT, you could tell that it was different because I know Shawn Michaels' booking. And that was Shawn Michaels' booking, 75-25 of Vince McMahon. And Vince was 25 and Shawn was 75. You can tell the difference. Even though JD doesn't care about it or anyone else, I can see the difference of a Shawn Michaels booking the way that he would like to book when he's not being told what to do by Vince. Or, not really Triple H, but Vince. So what do we got? We got Vince subpoenaed by the grand jury about what happened last year. And that was due to the fact of him using resources of this corporation, this company, that is not closed. In other words, it's not privately owned. It is an open corporation that you can do stock with. That is been open for almost 2 decades, easily. And he broke the law. And they were still doing a probe on it when he left. When probably the shareholders, Steph, Nick, and Triple H told him, look, we're in trouble here. What's going on with them collecting data from the federal government? You got to go away. You're hurting us here. So he pulled back until the end of the year when he forced his way back in and then set up to sell the company, because we still have to wait until next year to see if it will go through. Remember, when it comes to Infinity, I believe that's the name of the company. I keep forgetting it. But they can still fall out. Vince can still pull back from selling the company. And that can happen at the end of the year. So that is still going through. He is still the one who's directly in charge of the company on behalf of the owner of Infinity. If I'm wrong about the name, you guys can tell me below. But the owner of the larger conglomerate that owns UFC and now soon to be WWE, he's working on their behalf. So he's under contract. Now with the subpoena, he would have automatically been forced to go in front of a grand jury, and they would have seen if he deserves to be indicted, and then they would do the full proceedings of the grand jury. That's not happening right now due to the fact that he had spinal surgery. Now, there's a couple of people that are thinking, and I kind of agree with it to a certain extent, because him being out because of major surgery, it's impossible for them to pull him in. He's home-written. He cannot do anything after having major spinal surgery. That is not a joke. So many people probably thought that he probably got tipped off that there was going to be an indictment from the grand jury, that the federal probe was going to come with not an indictment, but a subpoena. My mistake. That the federal probe, that he probably had someone that was maybe close to the federal government, whoever was doing the investigation, tell him, Vince, got to tell you right now, you're going to be subpoenaed. They're going to try and indict you. And they probably said, okay, I'm going to be indicted. I got problems with my spine. I got to get something done. When is it now? He said, very soon. I said, well, I'm scheduling it now. Bob's your uncle. He had the surgery. Highly convenient, well, many people would say. And pretty much, they can't touch him yet. They'll have to wait until he's physically capable of walking around and can be taken somewhere so they can go for the investigation to see if he will be indicted so he can go for the grand jury and go through trial. So that's what generally I believe is going on here. Now, what do I think will happen? Guys, I can't tell you. I can't tell you that Vince will get off, or Vince will basically, after he fully recovers, will spend the rest of his life in jail. Because pretty much he's in his 70s now. If he's indicted even for 10 years, 10, he might not live long enough in jail. Maybe he might. Maybe. If he spends 10 years in jail, and he's, 75? I don't even remember how old he is. 75? You guys can check. I don't remember. I messed up on RVD's years. I thought he was older than me. He's the same age as me. He's 52, maybe nearing 53. I just turned 52. So, I don't remember how old he is. He could be in his mid to late 70s. I don't remember. But if he stays in jail for the next 10 to 15 years, he might die there. And that will be it. Done. Or he may get off. I can't tell you which one. But what do I think should happen? Because if he is subpoenaed, when he can go to the grand jury and they do the check and they discover that he does need to be indicted, what does that mean for WWE? Honestly, the best option would be for him to step away and let the day-to-day operations be done with Nick and Triple H. I don't know if Steph would ever come back because she knew. Let's make this clear. Stephanie McMahon knew this was going to happen. She left. She didn't need to just give up her job. She could have taken a leave of absence to spend more time with her kids or take care of anything that she needed surgery. She could have just left and then came back. No. She quit flat out. She was forced out by her own father by not agreeing with him coming back. That is obvious. There's just no way that she did not leave the company because he came back the way he did. He forced his way back, forced, I believe, 3 members of the board of directors to literally quit because they were part of collecting internal information on the probe for the federal government. They were already doing their own investigation. Then they probably collected the information they did, and then they worked on it on top of that. So 3 of those people quit. 2 others were fired. Didn't need to happen. And he brought in 2 others that he fired maybe 2 years ago that he was just trying to cleave the fat. That he knew there were yes to him. Yes men and women to him. So I can't tell you she'll come back. I can't. But I will tell you this. That if he is subpoenaed, and he will be subpoenaed when he's physically capable, he will go to the grand jury. They will do their investigation there. And they will tell him if he's going to be indicted or not. If he's indicted, they need to distance him. Flat out. It will hurt the company. It will hurt it. Him being focused on selling the company means nothing while this is going on. He has to deal with a federal grand jury. He will be focused on that. He will not be focused on the day-to-day operations of the company and worrying about trying to sell it. He will have to focus on this until it's done. That's what I think will need to be done and maybe will be done. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's just me. And I hope you enjoyed this Gump Report. Please give me a comment below. I've done it. That's now 3 videos I've made and 2 that will be released, and maybe 1 tomorrow and maybe the next one on Monday. I don't know yet. I don't know what schedule I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do more of these because there's certain things that's going on in the background right now. I'm not going to talk about them. It's private. But it makes it stressful. And when I get stressed, it's hard to focus. But that's just me. Peace, guys.